Hey all, this is Software Focus, and today we're going back to basics with Snagit. You don't want to miss this. Today's episode will be focused on the Magic Wand tool usable within the Snagit editor. To start, we'll go to the Magic Wand tool, which by default is under the More option. And it's usually about the third one down. It'll say Magic Wand. Clicking on it will pull it into the toolbar at the top and turn it blue. You'll also see new tool properties appear in the properties pane on the right. Now, the Magic Wand tool essentially is a selection tool. If you're familiar with products like Photoshop, you might be familiar with what the Magic Wand tool does. Basically, it allows you to select a color in an image, and it'll select that color. Let me pull up a more interesting picture to demonstrate. Alright, here we go. So I have the Magic Wand tool selected. Let's say in this particular logo here, I'll click this blue section here because I want to remove the blue. And you'll see that everything is selected, or at least outlined by a selection, except for the white spot on the outside of the image as well as the white spot within the image. Now if I were to hit the delete button, for example, you'll see it gets rid of that. It leaves a little bit of an outline, but I'll go into kind of why that is. Basically what it does, what the Magic Wand tool does, is it selects whatever color you are clicking on. So, if we zoom in here, I'm clicking on a pixel. Here, I'll actually zoom in. So if I click on one of these pixels, I'm clicking on a particular pixel with a certain color to it. So when I click it, it is selecting all the other pixels with that same color. If I delete, you see this outline, and that's because those are different colors. Those are different colored pixels. When you zoom way in on a standard image, a circle is not perfectly circular. And in order to transition from one color to another, there's usually a fading or gradient effect upon the pixels in between the main color and everything else. And that's what we're seeing here, is the pixels that were not exactly the same as what we selected. Now, you can adjust how that works a little bit by using the tool properties, and we can increase or decrease the selection range. If we increase it, click again and then delete, it's a little different. It picked out a few more of the colors, so if we undo that and increase it even more and select and delete. Now that's about perfect if what you were trying to do was completely remove all the blue in that particular section. To look at some of the other options here, we have a global selection switch, which what that'll do is if I turn it on and click a section, it will look at the entire image and pick out all that. So one of the best ways to demonstrate that is if I undo my deletion here. I'll go ahead and drop this back down to what it was, and I'll zoom back out. I will turn on global color selection, and then I'll click in that same area. Snagit processes the image. Now, Snagit's having a little trouble picking out some of the stuff, but you'll see a lot of the things that's selected are blues. So it, grabbed that, it grabbed the blue here, grabbed the blue here. This image has a lot of blue in it, so it's a little difficult for it to pinpoint. If I increase this back up a little bit, clear the selection and reselect, it's a little better. It started picking out some of the lines in here and lines here. This has a lot of blue in it, so maybe what I'll do is choose a different color. Let's try the red. And you see it's still not quite picking out right, so let's try increasing the range here and reselect. Let's try zooming in, make sure I'm getting what I want to get. So I'll be honest here, I'm not sure what it's picking up on. Because I'm clicking on red and it doesn't seem to be analyzing very well. My best guess is that the global selection is picking out like individual pixels, but I'll be honest, I don't fully get why it's doing what it's doing. Maybe there's a slight issue in the Snagit program. Maybe there's something I'm doing. You all can tell me down in the comments. I'm open to it. But for demonstration purposes, let's just turn the global selection off. The last two options here are for background fill. So when you saw me select the blue here and delete it, you saw it left the checkered background indicating that there was a transparency there. Autofill tries to autofill the deleted section using the area around the deleted section to color. So if I choose the blue here again, like I've done before, so if I choose this, it'll select it, and I have autofill selected, optimized for speed, and I'll delete it. And now it essentially disappeared because it filled from the white around it. If I undo it and choose something different, and delete, again it kind of disappears because it pulls from the white around it. Areas where this might not turn out so well are in very busy pictures where, you know, a lot of colors are mixed. Let's choose this letter here and delete. It smears it because it's trying to pull from around that shape. Now, there is a optimize for photo quality. It's currently experimental, but if I click on it, it may give us a different option when I delete that letter. A little bit, but it's still, you can see, maybe if I zoom in a little bit, you can still tell where it was and how it kind of messed up the image. So the autofill is good for distinct differences in color, white and red, but can be a little temperamental in busy pictures. So besides deleting of items, if I use the tool to say grab that again and then click on it again, you'll see you'll see the selection change so that it has manipulation dots. If I click and drag it, what it did was it pulled everything around that it had selected, and it becomes its own separate image that you can manipulate. You can demonstrate here as well. And the autofill also works here, so you know, I have this red V selected. If I choose autofill and set it back to speed and then click on it again, it'll become separate, and I pull it out, and this of course now is its own piece, and it autofilled with white, so you really can't tell, at least as easily, that something was removed. And that about does it for the Magic Wand tool. This has been Software Focus. If you like this video, hit that like button, or click subscribe to join the channel for future videos. If you have any feedback or ideas for future videos, please leave a comment down below. Keep focusing.